Hello, this is Road Warrior. Today I'll be casting a 1 versus 1 on Lost Temple between the purple Zerg Prion and the blue Protoss Redimere. Redimere is a good friend of mine. One of my first casts to be of a friend, and he sent me this cast. So, yeah, this will be my very first cast. Now, Prion is sending out his Overlord to scout the nearest spawn location, just in case Redimere spawned there, which is always a good idea. Looks like Redimere is sending out a probe, probably to build a pylon, which he is now. He's going to use him to scout out. This is always a good idea. Now, I believe what he's doing, he's going to this natural over here, and then, or the spawn location over here, and then sending him to this spawn location, and then lastly the closer spawn location. But when he sees this Overlord, he's going to know that he's his opponent's right here. Looks like he used his Chrono Blast on his Nexus to help with warping and drought. Wow. It's 12 o'clock and I already can't talk. Using for his Chrono Roost to pump out more drones. He did drop a gate down here to do a good wall in. He knows it's a Zerg. He's probably expecting a Zerg rush. Now he's scouting out his main base. Sees the spawning pool going down, an early spawning pool. Probably going to be pumping out Zerglings here shortly. He did see the extractor go down as well, so he could be expecting maybe a little bit higher tech, you know, roaches or hydralisks shortly after that. He did leave the drone here at the natural, just in case he goes to throw down a hatchery. He can harass the drone a bit, or the drone a bit. Now he did, Prion did place an Overlord right here to scout this all out. Very good idea, just to see what he's pumping out first. He's just going to see a couple zealots probably, but that's about it. Did throw down a cybernetics core, probably going to pump out some stalkers as well, and definitely get his warp gate down as soon as possible. Now this drone is harassing the probe here. Redimere microing him, kind of okay. At least he's not dead yet, just dropped his shields. Oh, got a couple hits on him. Got 5 health left, and he's going to be down shortly. There he goes. Prion here is pumping out a couple of Zerglings right now. We could see an early attack from him. He does have his queen. Probably be producing more larvas to get up his Zergling count pretty quickly. He's sending one out to scout right now. Placing him at this tower, very good idea, just to see if Redimere here goes for an early push. He did drop 2 more gateways, so we could see a 4-gate build going on here, which means a lot of gateway units, which is okay. But since we're dealing with Zerg, we probably want to get a couple Colossus just to deal with the mass. He did drop his hatchery down, and it is almost done. Let's look at production here. He is getting Speedling boost, which is always a great idea, especially in early game. You want to be able to get in and out as quickly as possible with your Zerglings. He is dropping a Roach Warren, so we should be seeing roaches here shortly as well. Redimere is just producing more gate units, a couple sentries it looks like. Like I said, he may be expecting that probe got blocked. It's pretty funny. He could be expecting a rush shortly, so utilizing their shields, or their force fields could be very handy, especially if he gets them on the ramp. Only having a couple up here, a couple down here, splitting up the army will be very helpful. He is going for his expansion. Good idea, pretty early as well. That's actually a good time for an expansion. Prion is using a Zergling on patrol mode to kind of scout this area out. Not a bad idea since they are pretty cheap and they're fast. He's got another queen on the ground, producing a couple spine crawlers for defense. Always a good idea. Putting down another hatchery, and he's got an Evo chamber. Redimere did drop another pylon down here, a little bit closer to his natural, so he can at least defend a little bit easier. Now this Zerg player does see this expansion coming out. He can see these units. He kind of knows what he's dealing with right now. Really, this is not that great of an army, but it is a little bit late for that Zerg rush. If he would have rushed a little bit sooner, at least could have harassed everything going on up here. He is getting another extractor. He's got his 2 extractors at his main. Since he is producing roaches, they are kind of cheap. Not as cheap as Zerglings, but definitely not as cheap as, or not as expensive as Hydralisks. Redimere did drop 3 more gates down, so we should be seeing a lot of gate units. He does have his expansion up and running, almost not completely saturated, but it's getting there. Going to be throwing 3 off the line for this simulator. Prion is producing a lot of overlords, so he doesn't have to deal with build more overlords. If you look at production, he is getting some upgrades. 1 upgrade for his units, 8 roaches. Redimere could be doing something shortly. Excuse me. I'm a little sick, so that's why if I sound funny or if I'm slow or saying a lot, I can't think. So he is sending out his units. Should be seeing, definitely be seeing something. I don't think they're going to be doing a whole lot to these roaches. He is trying to separate them out as much as possible. Very good job on the separation here. Not perfect. He's got half. That's perfect placement of the shields. Separated half the army, even though his army is more or less dead right now. Was not a very good push by Redimere. His army did pretty much die. Now, if Prion was smart, he'd continue to attack. He needs to push him right now. I think that is enough to deal. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, probably not enough to deal with this, but at least put a major dent in his unit production as well. We're seeing 6 zealots right now. He's massing zealots at this point, which isn't a bad idea. Definitely want some of these stalkers, more stalkers out to deal with the roaches, because with their +4 more to armored units, total 14 damage to the armor units. It's definitely a very good approach, whereas roaches and Zerglings themselves don't have any bonuses to armored units, which what stalkers are. So I think it'd be more important for him to go blink stalkers at this point. Definitely can harass a lot more with it and survive a little bit longer and do a whole lot more damage. He needs to get at least a +1 or +2 side blades, or +1/+2 attack. Do a lot more damage that way as well. But his use of sentries there was pretty nice. His only problem was he didn't have that big of an army compared to our Zerg players. Now our Zerg player is putting down 2 more expansions over here. For some reason has not gone for the high yield. I don't know why. Maybe he doesn't know what that is. He is going level 2 attack for his ground units. He is getting another Evo chamber. 2 more spore crawlers to deal with air, queen, some more drones. I don't think Redimere is planning on going air units, so those spore crawlers aren't really going to do too much. Although putting this hatchery here was a pretty good idea. Again, he should have just gone for the high yield. But what can you do? Now Redimere is producing more stalkers, more zealots, still going gate units. He does have a robotics facility down, so we could be seeing Immortals, Colossi, and maybe an Overseer or two in case our Zerg player gets Burrow for his units. Now this Overlord is still here. He can see what's going on over here. Not the best interest of Redimere. He needs to send some blink stalkers up there to take that out. But I'm not sure if he even sees that. Yeah, he doesn't even notice him there because of the Fog of War and being on another level. Again, very good placement by our Zerg player. Yeah, he could see at least this much. This isn't a lot, but it's more than our Protoss player can see. Now, Redimere did go for the high yield expansion, dropping 2 more simulators, trying to mine this out as fast as possible. Always a good idea. Always a good idea. Let's look at the income tab. Yeah, right now Redimere is about 400 to 500 ahead of our Zerg player. They're tied on gas, but it's the minerals that count, especially since Redimere is producing zealots at this point, and they're 100 mineral each, which is not always a bad idea to get, especially if you get the charge upgrade, which I do not believe he has a Twilight Council yet. He needs to get Templar Archives, so we should be seeing he's getting Psionic Storm, so definitely High Templars coming in. Another good choice for to go against Zerg players because of their mass units. The Psi Storms will do a whole lot of damage, at least weaken them enough for the other units to finish them off. But he definitely needs to get there is a Twilight Council. He needs his research charge and blink charge, especially for the zealots, and blink, so he can see what happens when you get sick. Can't think. So you can harass with the stalkers. Now our Zerg player definitely is going Hydralisk, Roach with some Speedlings. Not a bad idea. He did get Corruptors. I don't know why. But I guess a couple Corruptors is better than none, just in case. There is an Ultralisk on the field, which is great to go against the Zealots, the mass Zealots. He just needs to get a couple more. We do have a bunch of Queens on the field, producing more larvas, but that high yield is kind of killing our Zerg player here. Redimere is getting more expansions. He's going to be capping out on his expansions on this side, except for the island over here.